You're contracted some type of spirit from him that is unclean and is causing you to be crazy and attached to him. Because there is some type of leechy, vampire-like spirit that got from him into you, and now you want to latch on to him. You're leechy towards him, and you go crazy at the thought of him talking to another female. And also because you subconsciously know that you didn't do the right thing, which is, we just had a hookup. He does not have to commit to me. He does not have to be my boyfriend, and he dang sure ain't about to be my husband. So you know you did something wrong by hooking up with him. That's why you're paranoid. Is he gonna text me? Is he gonna call me back? No! Come on now. What's poppin'? How y'all doing? It's Sydney Island here. All right, so let's just jump right into the topic of this video, which is, it's gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a very, very exciting topic to talk about, but it's also gonna get pretty deep and maybe a little bit intense. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. So, sleeping around is not empowering. I lost my virginity when I was 21 years old. I was always very timid when it came to sex, especially in the beginning stages of sex. And even to this day, as a 27-year-old woman who was going on 28, I still feel timid towards sex. Hookups are not what they're really like made out to be in movies and TV shows and on social media. Hookup culture is trash. I said it. I'm angry. I'm furious that this has been adopted into our culture as something to be proud of. It's not a good thing for a woman to have sex with a bunch of dudes to the point where if she were to get pregnant, she wouldn't know who the father is. It's not a good thing. Not at all. Where is the self-worth? She should value herself so much more than that. My very first hookup, I was so riddled with regret. As a matter of fact, when I lost my virginity, it was a hookup. Because we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just friends. And I made a video talking about I regret the way I lost my virginity. I made that video on my other channel, my first channel. I made a video. The link for that channel will be in the description box below, so that y'all can kind of get a gist of like how unstable and uncomfortable it is to have sex with a stranger. I mean, that's pretty much what hookups are. It's just you're having sex with a stranger and you're trying to force yourself to be comfortable with it. There are some females that can do it and they don't care, but the reality of it is that they do. They try to convince themselves that they don't care, because I've seen it with female friends. I had a female friend who would hook up with all these different guys, and she was confident. She carried herself like she was confident, and she would claim that she was confident, and I felt that she did have confidence, but there was also like an underlying neediness to her. Like, why do you always need male attention every single day, all day? It was like she would always have a different guy around all the time. Every time I would come over to her apartment, I'm like, who is that? Who is that guy? And she's like, oh, that's Connor. Have you met Connor? I'm like, no, I haven't met Connor, because, well, you have a new guy every day. I can't keep up, sis. And she had this whole thing of like, I'm so confident. Look at me. Look at my new outfit. I'm this and I'm that. And I wanted her to be confident, and I loved her, and I wanted the best for her, and I wanted to tell her, sis, what are you doing? The spiritual aspect of it, y'all, is that when a female has sex with a bunch of dudes, she's contracting a bunch of different spirits from those guys. And she didn't get that. I don't even think that even crossed her mind. She was having sex with all these different guys, and the girl acted nuts.
I was convinced, y'all. I was convinced that she was a manic, bipolar person.
Because of how crazy she acted. And you know, they say, When you have sex with a bunch of different guys without protection, or even with protection, you have sex with a bunch of different guys, you're contracting different spirits. Hence why women act crazy when they have sex with a bunch of different guys. And then she acts crazy even when she has sex with one guy, and they call it stigmatized, which really stigmatized is really just you're contracted some type of spirit from him that is unclean and is causing you to be crazy and attached to him. Because there is some type of leechy, vampire-like spirit that got from him into you, and now you want to latch onto him. You're leechy towards him, and you go crazy at the thought of him talking to another female. And also because you subconsciously know that you didn't do the right thing, which is, we just had a hookup. He does not have to commit to me. He does not have to be my boyfriend, and he dang sure ain't about to be my husband. So you know you did something wrong by hooking up with him. That's why you're paranoid. Is he gonna text me? Is he gonna call me back? No! Most likely not. Unless he decided ahead of time that he was your boyfriend, or that he was going to be in a committed relationship with you. If he didn't decide those things, then he's not going to call or text you back, because you were just a hit it and quit it, hit it and run case for him. And I'm not just saying this just to say it. I'm saying this because I've experienced it on my own, and I've experienced it with watching my female friends go through it. Sis, protect your coochie. Protect your coochie. Because some of these dudes out here, and I say some of these dudes out here don't give
a damn.
They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't care. You're just a walking
cum dumpster.
You're just a walking
masturbation bank.
You're just a walking semen container to some guys who are absolute and total a-holes and misogynists. They just want to use you. And if you don't value yourself, they can use you whenever they want. So I personally have an issue with the concept of bodies. I always had an issue with this. I am a part of the generation that, I don't know if I'm a part of the generation that created it, or I'm a little bit older than the generation that created it. But either way, I was born in 1996, and a lot of people my age and younger, especially people younger than me, so I think it's like a Gen Z kind of thing. I'm what you consider a millennial, which is the generation after Gen Z. So why did I say after? Before, I'm sorry. Which is the generation before Gen Z, which is the a little bit slightly older than Gen Z. The concept of bodies always made me feel like confused. Like as soon as it came out and somebody asked me how many bodies did you have, I was like, huh? Excusez-moi?
How many who? How many what? How many where?
I'm disturbed. What? Bodies? That sounds like a serial killer. How many bodies do you have in your freezer? Like, you sound like, how many people have you killed? Like, that's really what it sounds like to me. It sounds really, honestly, degrading and disgusting. And it's just kind of like a way to devalue human beings. Whether you're male or female, black or white. We're devaluing each other. Just like another way to devalue humanity. It's trash. It's complete trash.
What is humanity?
The term bodies definitely comes from hookup culture, because why else would you say how many bodies do you have? And by the way, those who don't know what that means, it pretty much means how many people have you had sex with? How many people have you hooked up with? That's pretty much what it means, for all of you people who are not hip to
Nonsense.
For all those people who actually live a normal life, a productive, happy, healthy, positive life. And this was something that was asked to me. I remember it wasn't asked in this particular way. It wasn't like, how many bodies do you have? It was just like, how many people have you had sex with? This was when I was like 14 in high school, freshman in high school. And unfortunately, it was a predominantly black high school. And I've noticed, I don't know if it's all black high schools, but in my area, of course, the one high school that is predominantly black in the area is like extremely sexualized. And there are a lot of freaking freshmen in high school who are pregnant, you know, and I just was different, you know. Maybe it's because I was raised by an older mom. Like my mom had me when she was 30 years old. And maybe a lot of those girls, I know for a fact a lot of those girls had younger moms who, you know, their moms, they had them when they were teenagers or in their early 20s. My mom didn't have me until she was 30. So I was raised by somebody who was more level-headed and more mature. So maybe that plays a part in it. And the thing is that I have had a lot of sexual disappointment within myself because of me trying to be like the rest of society, you know, trying to hook up. I wanted to hook up and I did it, and I regretted it just about honestly every single time, because all I really wanted was a boyfriend. All I really wanted was a long-term boyfriend who led to being my husband. That's all I really wanted. But I deprived myself of that in order to fit in. And I regret it. Like, if I could go back and not have sex with like the guys that I had sex with, honestly, I would. I don't need these memories in my head of me having awkward, uncomfortable sex with these strangers. It's the most uncomfortable thing ever. And for me, it was borderline traumatic. And that's what I wrote in my notes. I was like kind of brainstorming. Before I do my videos, I pull out a notepad and a pen and I just kind of write down my thoughts about the topic. And I wrote down, hookups are usually very rushed. Therefore, it ends up very awkward, uncomfortable, or even traumatic. Let's sit on that one for a minute. Hookups, I honestly feel like whoever came up with the concept of hookups
did not want humanity to evolve and be happy.
Let's just be real. I mean, come on. Why else would you create an avenue? Tinder? I mean, come on. Like, so many people get on Tinder to have hookups, and so many of those people are not happy. Because most people want to be married. Okay, there, I said it. Most women, especially the female species, wants to be a wife to a good man. And you're over here hooking up.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh, look at his dimples.
And then you go have sex with him and you're like, oh my gosh, he treated me like crap. He didn't even care about... He didn't care if I had a really good soul-fulfilling orgasm. It didn't cross his mind to be caring towards me during sex, because he wasn't having sex with me. He was having sex with my body. And that's the whole point of this video. I wrote, we're a part of a culture that is lusting for the body while ignoring the soul that inhabits the body. And I'm speaking from deep discomfort and agony, because I was so desperate to lose my virginity that I was like, just take it from me. All my friends have lost their virginity, and I felt peer pressured. And I'm like, I'm 21, I'm a freshman in college or sophomore, whichever one, and all my friends are having sex and I'm not, and I just feel so left out. Whoever wants to take it, just take it. Big mistake. One of my very first sexually, trigger warning, click out if you want to, but this is reality. One of my very first sexually triggering experiences was me trying to lose my virginity through a hookup setting. I wish I didn't do it. I still have to sit with that. This guy was a complete a-hole, and he had no regard for my safety or my comfort. I invited him into my dorm because I was so naive and so loving and so sweet and so friendly. And I'm the type of person where when I meet people, no matter what, even to this day, I just want everybody to feel comfortable and feel happy and feel good. And there was this guy that obviously was taller and bigger than me, and he was a guy that I met in one of my college classes, and he was lonely, and I brought him over, and I was so naive. Oh my God. I'm about to be 28, and at the time I was like 19 or 20, and I was so naive and just so weak and vulnerable, and I didn't have a father figure, you know, in the home, so I didn't really know how a man was supposed to act in regards to a woman and her body. So he violated me. I brought him into my dorm, and I told him, stop, leave me alone, leave my dorm, get out, get out. I wasn't the best at communicating at all. Like, my communication was horrible because I was young and I didn't value myself enough to really truly stand up for myself the right way. So I was just like, get out, like, bye. And I had an attitude, and I just was not stern. I was just like, bye, please get out. And I didn't press how uncomfortable he was making me feel. He didn't take it seriously. He had mental issues, like severe mental issues, and he didn't take it seriously. I don't really want to go into the details of it, but he touched me more than what I wanted to, even when I told him no. And he kept trying to pressure me into being sexual with him. And then he interrogated my roommate, who came in several hours later and tried to make fun of me for not wanting to have sex with him. And he did that with my roommate, and then he tried to get in the bed with my roommate, and it just was a really uncomfortable experience that, you know, I have to live with, all because I tried to hook up. And I was a virgin. And I was moving way too fast. And I have a tendency to do that. I could blame it on my Mars and Aries. I could blame it on me not growing up with a father figure. I could blame it on a number of things. But I blame it on being influenced by my peers and by the media, and thinking that I needed to do something that I didn't really need to do. To this day, sometimes I wonder, maybe I should have waited until marriage to have sex, because that the sexual discomfort didn't end there. I went on to try to be sexual with other guys and to be taken advantage of by some of them. And that's my next point, is that hookup culture opens the gateway for women to be sexually assaulted. And that is something that we don't talk about. Like, can we talk about this? Hookup culture is trash. You having sex with a rando is not okay. It will not work out in your favor. It's very rare that a woman has sex with a guy and then ends up marrying him. That happens. Don't get me wrong. I've heard stories of women who hooked up with a guy and ended up marrying him.
That's not common.
That's a rare case. There are so many more cases of women hooking up with rando guys and just feeling completely uncomfortable and wishing that it had never happened, because she comes to her senses midway through sex and she's like,
Whoa, who is this guy that I'm letting enter me?
who is this guy? I don't know. Do I even know if he cares about me? And you know what? It takes time to get to know a guy to even know if he cares about you. It's just I need a break. Time out. I need a break. Okay, we had a little intermission there. Had to use the restroom. But let's just jump right into it. So let's get back into what I said about we are part of a culture that is all about lusting for the body while ignoring the soul that inhabits the body. And I say this because I'm a very sensitive person, and for me, sex is a sensitive kind of act. You know, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and a lot of women, you know, they're just like,
Woo, take your clothes off, be free.
and you know, for me, I never was able to do that until I was in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Like, hookups, it never did me good. I never enjoyed it. I always regretted it. I always felt devalued and discarded and unloved and unwanted. But when I had sex with a boyfriend, after I put up those standards and expectations, then the sex was good. Once I was like, okay, first of all, I'm not having a hookup. I'm only having sex with a person who can commit, with a man who can commit to me. Once I put those boundaries down, you know, it made it a whole lot easier. I'm like, not only does he have to say that he commits to me, but he also has to take me out on dates, pay for my food, open the door for me. I put down boundaries, and that's how the sex was able to be so good, was because when I was having sex, in the back of my mind, I wasn't like, and I didn't even demand that he take me out on a date. You know what I'm saying? He in my coochie, and he didn't even do nothing to get in here. And oh, Sydney, you don't value yourself, because I was raised by a mom who was born in the 60s. So of course she's going to tell me, she's going to instill all these values in me, like don't have hookups, make sure that the man cares about you. You shouldn't just want to have sex with just any old dude. She was very much against like threesomes, orgies, which for me, I've never had an orgy. Praise God. Those experiences really did teach me a lot. And if it wasn't for those experiences, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. But I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who's trying to really heal sexually and to reach a higher plane when it comes to sex. You know, somebody who was really trying to have divine sex. I didn't have what I considered to be divine sex until I put down those boundaries and I said, I am not having sex with anybody who's not in a committed relationship with me. And that's when I had the most, like the best sex I've ever had of my life. And it was with my ex-boyfriend. Because so many guys, they try to get into a woman and have sex with her, but they don't really care to get to know her. And that's really what I mean when I say that we're in a culture that's all about lusting for the body without really giving a flying F about the soul that inhabits the body. So many guys have made me feel like my soul, they didn't care about my soul. They didn't care about the state of my soul while they were having sex with me. They didn't care about the state of my soul before, after, during, whatever. And I was that person where I needed comfort and love and affection, but I kept trying to front like I was just a strong, rebellious female.
Like, yeah, I can do it all. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Let's just have fun.
Let's just experiment. I'm all about that experimentation. And I would always regret that because I really wasn't being myself, which is a very sensitive person. And when it comes to sex, I'm very sensitive. I don't want to open my legs to every dude. And don't get me wrong. I was not a whore. I just had sex outside of a committed relationship, and I really didn't have it that many times. It's the crazy thing about it was I did not have that many hookups in my life, but just those few times, it taught me everything I needed to know. Sex is not like a joke. Like, it's something that can really negatively affect you if you are not careful. You should think about it before you do it. A lot of females that have a bunch of sex with a bunch of different guys, this is something that I've learned from my psychology class in college, was that women who have more hookups than the average are more prone to depression. And I remember my professor asking, why do you guys think that is? And the answer pretty much is she feels unloved. She's opening herself up to all these guys and none of them have committed. You know, those guys after sex was like,
you sound like a really nice girl, and I want to take you out for coffee tomorrow morning.
Instead, they were just like,
I gotta go to work in the morning, so bye.
That's a really soul-robbing feeling, because we live in a society where we try to overlook the sensitivity and the softness and the overall neediness of a woman. And we're just like, oh, well, you know, I'm a strong woman. I don't need no man for anything. I can just have these little hookups and have all this sex, and they can just go on their way and I'll go on mine, and I don't need a man. But if you didn't need a man, why are you even having sex with them in the first place? Clearly you need something from men. And then they experience depression because they're in denial of how much they need a man. You need male attention. You want that love and affection. And really, if God the higher vibration, higher dimensional being from the sky, whoever you want to believe in, if that being were to come down and say, hey, I'm going to give you a husband who's going to provide for you financially and put you on a pedestal and love you and care for you, do you want it? Most of you guys would be like, heck yeah! Y'all wouldn't be like, no, I don't need no man. No, you guys would not. Let's stop being in denial. Most of us women want good men. Most of us want a good husband. And the women that feel that they can't find that, they tell themselves and they convince themselves that they don't need it. So then they just hook up. I don't need a man, I just need his penis. And then that goes on to her degrading the man and devaluing the man, which is what she hates for a man to do to her. Because a man is more valuable than his penis. Just like a woman is more valuable than her genitals. And women do that nowadays. You got with the creation of OnlyFans and, all this stuff they have in the media of just like, yeah, hook up, whatever, be free, sexual liberation. And it's just like not genuine. Because in order to be sexually liberated, you have to just not care about your sexual hygiene. For me, I get tested as often as I can. I don't have a lot of sexual partners, but I'm paranoid about my coochie, and you should be too. Like the way that society builds women up is like, who cares? Be free. It's not freedom. It's not freedom for you to just be out here opening your legs to any guy and secretly, because you won't tell anybody, and secretly deep in your heart, you want him to commit. All these guys that you're having sex with, you won't tell a soul. But deep down inside, you want a commitment from at least one of these guys. You want one of them to turn to you and say, you're a beautiful woman. You know what? I'm going to put my all into you in this relationship with you. I'm going to stop having sex with all these whores and I'm going to commit to you because there's something special about you. That's what you really want. And I'm not saying this just to say it. I'm speaking from experience. From when I would have hookups, all I really wanted was for one of these guys to turn around and say, I love you. And I love you so much that I'm not going to have sex with anybody else. I want to commit to you. And because I didn't value myself, I didn't even give myself that option. But I got tired of just hooking up with randos, cute guy with tattoos and dreadlocks. Oh, he's super cute. But then when you get down to getting sexual with him, he treats you like a piece of meat and you feel so robbed. And I just don't want younger females to walk in my footsteps and make the same mistakes that I did when I was in my early 20s. Don't do it. It's all a lie. It's all an illusion. You don't want to hook up with a bunch of dudes. You don't want to do it. You think you do, but after the third or fourth hookup, you're going to be like, oh my God, why did I choose this lifestyle? Because whenever I hooked up, I wished that I didn't. And the only time that I had sex and didn't completely regret it was when I had it within a committed relationship. When I was living with a male and I was cooking for him and his kids, and I felt like a valuable person. I felt like somebody that mattered because I was cooking for his kids and his kids looked at me like they called me stepmom, and I felt like his wife, and that was really the only time that I enjoyed sex was because I felt like his wife. And I felt like the kids love me and they consider me to be a stepmom. And I feel like I'm getting emotional, which is really unexpected. But I have been on a very long, rocky, toxic journey with sex, and I really blame, and most women won't want me to put this out there, but I blame the absence of my father on me wanting to have these hookups. Because really, at the end of the day, all I really wanted was the love from a father and love from men. Because, well, I haven't seen my dad since I was 3 years old. So, of course, I'm going to be out here like,
please, men, show me the love. Give it to me.
And I just went about it in all all the wrong ways. And so I just want to help any female out there that is misled and feels that that is the way. It will not take you very long to find that it's not the way. That is all that I have for you all today. It's done. I let it out. Deuces. I love y'all. Love yourself and love life. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, and listen to your mom and daddy when they tell you to stop freaking around. Okay? Listen to your mom and dad. Because they're only saying it to make sure that you are not prey for a predator. All right? Peace out.